All right, my dears, vocabulary. So, before sometimes I've done it where you look up the words by yourself, but I know sometimes it can be hard to understand if you do that. So I'm going to give you the definitions for these ones. I want you to write the definition in your vocabulary packet, and then with the sentence, you can choose to write one of my sentences. Sometimes I have two, so you can write both if you want, or you can choose to write your own sentence. For your exit slip, you are going to be writing your own sentence, so that is an option in your packet, or you can write one of mine, because I know sometimes it's helpful to have an example to look at of how to use it. So the first word is absorb. If you do want to see it in the story, it's on page 6. I have all the page numbers. So it means to take in or soak up. So think like a sponge absorbs things. One of my sentences, a paper towel will absorb the spilled milk. Okay, so it'll soak it up. In the story, it talks about how plants absorb energy from sunlight. That's where they get their energy. They absorb it from the sun. If you need to pause this at any point, go ahead. The next word is release. It means to let go of. So like he released the handle. Okay. I released my phone. Glad I caught it. Or in the story, decomposers release nutrients into the soil. So different plants and animals that help things decompose or break down release the nutrients into the soil. Notice how released is past tense, because release is a verb, or it can be present tense, just release. Or it could be releasing, and we drop the E. All right. Survive. Probably a word you've heard before. To continue to live. Right? Like you keep on surviving. I will survive. So it's a miracle they survived the crash. They stayed alive. Or living things work together to help each other survive. Again, you can write one of the sentences, you can write both, or you can write your own. I'm just giving you some different ways it can be used, because I know that can be tricky. And if you need more help, I can give you more examples. All right, next word is properly. Properly means correctly. So it can be hard to spell words properly. Or squash, like the food, provides vitamin A, which helps organs function properly. Now, I will say sometimes these words have multiple meanings, and at least for this unit, I'm just giving you the meaning how it was used in the story. Eventually, I might sort of talk to you about both of them, like properly can also mean like you have good manners, which is still sort of related to correctly, but it's a little different. So anyway, properly is just doing it correctly, properly, how you're supposed to. All right. I know these are yellow. I just still want you to write them. Energy, the ability to make something active. We hear it a lot like, oh, that kid had a lot of energy. Or you can think of it like all organisms have energy and they get it from the sun. All organisms get their energy from the sun. You might think, well, I don't, but you eat things that get it from the sun, or you eat things that get it from the sun. So it can always be traced back to the sun. Nitrogen is a gas that makes up most of Earth's atmosphere. Sorry, I have to erase part of this. We'll see if I can make it work. There we go. And is found in all living things. So in the story, it talks about how the beans distribute nitrogen, which helps the other plants grow stronger. So it can be found in soil. It can be found in living things. It's also a gas that we breathe in. Breathe in nitrogen. All right. Next one, I'm just going to go ahead and erase the whole box so you can see the last two. So carbohydrates is a compound that humans use to store and produce energy. Maybe you've heard of carbs before, like they're in bread and things. So foods such as cereals, fruits, and vegetables have a lot of carbohydrates. You'll learn lots about them like in science class and health class in middle school and high school. But plants have a lot of carbohydrates. And then harvested is the last word, is the gathering of ripe crops. So crops are like corn and squash and beans, the things you read about in the story, anything like that we grow for food. So when we gather them, when we cut them down to bring them into use, you call that harvesting. So harvested is like past tense, like we did it before. So after the plants are harvested, their stalks and leaves are left on the ground. It's like their stems. All right, so just make sure those are all written in your packet. If you need any more suggestions or help, let me know. And you'll choose 4 of them to write sentences for in your exit slip. Good luck.